Hello friends, I am Amarnath. So today we will discuss the topic of ascending powers of President of India. Right? So the topic for today's discussion is ascending powers of President of India. Right? So we know that Indian Constitution has adopted a parliamentary system of government, where Parliament is seen as the supreme lawmaking body. Right? So here, one of the essential functions of Parliament is making of laws. Right? So it is the supreme lawmaking body below the Constitution. Right? So our Constitution has given the lawmaking powers to the legislature, that is Parliament. So in accordance with the power conferred by the Constitution, right, the Parliament of India makes laws. So it makes ordinary laws as well as constitutional amendment laws. That means the laws made by Parliament, we can call them as ordinary laws or a constitutional law. Ordinary law or a constitutional law, also called as a constitutional amendment laws. So all those amendments made by law of Parliament, such laws are regarded as a constitutional law. But here, no law of Parliament can be enacted without the assent of President of India. Right? So that means without the signature of President of India, no law made by Parliament cannot be enacted. So legislations are made by Parliament, but they are enacted only after being assented by President of India. So it is the executive, right, who gives his assent to the laws made by Parliament. We should not forget that President of India is an integral part of Parliament. President of India is integral part of Parliament, where his assent, right, so is equally important to make a law, to enact a law. So not only a law should be passed in both the House of Parliament, but at the same time it should be assented by President of India. Right? So this is what about the today's discussion. So our Constitution under Article 111 of the right, has empowered the President of India to give his assent. So it is under Article 111 of the Constitution, right? President is empowered to give his assent, right? So the issue is whether it is mandatory for the President to give his assent, whether it is compulsory for the President to give his assent or not, right? So to be frank to say, it is not mandatory for the President to give his assent, right? So President of India has veto powers. So Article 111 of the Constitution, it is not just about the powers of giving assent, but even it is about veto exercised by President of India. So it is about veto powers. Right? Now what is veto mean? What does veto means? So veto means overriding powers. Veto is nothing but overriding powers. Right? So that is power of President of India to override a legislation. Right? Power of President of India to override a law made by Parliament. So that is what veto means. Simply it is about overriding powers. Right? So this is not new, or this is not for the first time our Constitution has given these powers. So even before commencement of Constitution, right? So the executive, right, under the executive according to Indian Councils Act of 1861. So we should recollect this Indian Councils Act of 1861. It is this 1861 Councils Act which has empowered the Viceroy of India, the Viceroy of British India government, to issue the veto, to use his veto. That is, whenever a law is made by a legislative council, right? And when it is presented to the viceroy can either accept the law or he can override the law made by the legislative council. So it is not compulsory for the executive to accept the laws. It is not compulsory for the executive to what you call enact the law. So if required, the viceroy has every power to override a law made by what you call the legislative council. So this is the roots of veto powers of President of India. So the roots of Article 111, the roots of veto powers or assenting powers of President of India, they are in Indian Councils Act of 1861. Right? So it is this act which has what you call empowered the executive to exercise legislative power. So this is a kind of legislative power exercised by the executive, right? So this is the rules. Coming to what you call veto powers of President of India or assenting powers of President of India. So as I was saying, no law of Parliament can be enacted without the assent of President of India. So definitely, right? So a law to become an act, right? So law become an act to become an act, it requires assent. Now, what is the constitutional position of President of India in giving his assent? One thing we can say that President of India, as we have adopted, right, a parliamentary system of government. So in a parliamentary system of government, right, Parliament exercises supremacy, right? Parliament is supreme. That means President has a very limited veto powers, right? President of India has a limited veto powers. So what are these veto powers? What are these assenting powers given to President of India? So we can, in a single line, we can say that the veto powers of President are limited. That is, right? He cannot outrightly reject. Reject laws of Parliament. He cannot outrightly reject laws made by the Parliament. But there are other mechanisms where he can control the laws made by Parliament. So we can deal, right? We can discuss these veto powers of President of India can be discussed under three heads. That is simply our Constitution has given three types of veto powers to President of India. Alright. So as mentioned in Article 111. So according to Article 111 of the Constitution, right, the veto powers of President of India can be discussed under three heads. One is suspensive veto. Second one is pocket veto. And third one is absolute veto powers. Suspensive veto power, pocket veto power, as well as absolute veto power. So these are different types of veto powers given to President of India. Alright. So what is suspensive veto? So if you take this suspensive veto power, right? So it is nothing but the power of President of India to send back a bill, back to the Parliament, right? So for its reconsideration, simply whenever a bill is sent for the President of India, whenever a law made by Parliament sent to President of India for its enactment, right, it can be sent back by the President of India for the reconsideration of Parliament again, right? So it is power of President to send back, right, a bill or a law made by Parliament for its reconsideration. This is what about suspensive veto power. So whenever a bill is sent for President assent, President of India, instead of giving his assent, if he has any reservation, if President wants to have a clarity, or if President wants the Parliament to rethink on any provision of a bill or any provision of a law, he can send the entire bill or a part of the bill or any provision which, right, in his mind requires a rethinking of parliament, which requires a correction of parliament. So here, one thing we should remember, entire bill can be sent back, or a part of the bill can be sent back, or any provision of the bill can be sent back to the parliament for its reconsideration. So whenever such a bill, whenever such a provision are sent for the reconsideration of parliament, parliament should reconsider this bill within a period of 3 months, right? So that there is a clear time period given in the constitution. So within a period of 90 days, the parliament should reconsider this bill and should pass the bill either with changes or without changes. So here, parliament need not mandatorily, right, bring changes to the bill. So it is not compulsory for the parliament to bring the changes. It is up to the parliament, and parliament has a final choice, right? The lawmaking body has a final choice in dealing with these issues. So it is up to the parliament to make its own decision. So parliament can bring changes, or parliament may not bring changes, right? So but anyhow, anything should be done within a period of 90 days, right? So it is within this period of 90 days, parliament should take a decision and should pass the bill by simple majority. That is, whenever a bill is sent for reconsideration of parliament, right, then parliament should reconsider this bill. It should reconsider this bill within a period of, reconsider the bill within a period of 90 days, and should pass the bill by simple majority. And should pass the bill by simple majority, right? So this is what. So here, that is by simple majority, parliament should pass the bill and should send the bill for the president for his assent. That is, after passing the bill for second time, right, there will be a second journey to the president office. There will be a second journey of the bill to the president office. So in this second journey, president has no option but to accept the bill. President has no option but to give his assent. Now here in the second journey, that is after reconsideration, if parliament passes the bill again and it sends to president office, then in this journey, in the second journey of the bill, right, president has no option but to give his assent. So here, if we observe, initially president is sending the bill for reconsideration of parliament, but when there is a second journey of the bill, right, president is bound to give his assent, president is bound to give his signature. Initially, president has what we call used his veto, but now president cannot use his veto because president veto is being suspended. President veto is suspended by parliament by passing a bill with simple majority. So this is what suspensive veto power, right? So overriding, right, overriding of president himself, right? So overriding the president's power, right? So this is what suspensive veto power. Simply, right, overriding the president's veto power by passing a bill with simple majority, suspending the veto power of President of India with simple majority. It is called suspensive veto. If it is normally, there are constitutions, right, where instead of using simple majority, they go for what we call special majority. In such case, it will be called as qualified veto power. But in our constitution, there is no usage of qualified veto. It is only simple. It is only a suspensive veto that is being used, right? So this is what about suspensive veto power, right? So the last occasion where this suspensive veto power was used was in the case of Office of Profit Bill, when the then President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam, has sent back the bill for the reconsideration of Parliament. But here, in this case of Office of Profit Bill, Parliament has passed this bill without making any change, thus suspending the veto of President of India. All right. So you can use this example of Office of Profit. You can use this example of Office of Profit Bill, right? So it is this Office of Profit Bill, right, which was sent back for the reconsideration, right? It is sent back for the reconsideration of, right, Parliament, but Parliament has passed this Office of Profit Bill without making any change, right, by simple majority. And when it was sent for the President office for the second time, so President has no other option but to give his what you call assent. So this is what about suspensive veto power. Next, coming to another veto power, that is pocket veto power. Pocket veto, right? So if you take this pocket veto power, right, here one thing we should what you call think about the time factor. So within what time, is there any time limit for the President of India to give his assent, to use his veto power, right? So whenever a bill or a law is sent for the President's office for his signature, so coming to this time limit, our constitution has not given, our constitution has not given any time limit, right, to give his signature. So President can give his assent as soon as possible. So there is one word that is mentioned in the constitution, there is one word but that is mentioned in article 111, that is the word of as soon as possible, right? So that means there is no fixed time limit to there is no fixed time limit for the President of India to give his assent. That means President can take his own time. So whenever President has any doubt, whenever a President has any doubt on the majority of the government or the contents of the government, instead of giving instead of taking a hasty decision, President can simply wait. President can simply table the bill without giving any decision, right? Simply it is about tabling a bill, right, without giving any decision, right? So either accepting or sending for the what you call sending for say reconsideration of Parliament, right? So because whenever President has a doubt, particularly, right, on the contents of the government, so until government proves its majority within the House, because the bedrock principle of parliamentary system of government is collective responsibility, and this collective responsibility should be ascertained, right? And if President has any such doubt on the contents of the government or on the majority of the government, instead of taking a hasty decision by passing by giving his assent, President can simply table the bill. He can simply keep aside the bill on the desk. So we can also call it as withholding a bill for unspecified time, right? Withholding a bill for unspecified time, So this is what about pocket veto. So pocket veto is nothing but simply to table a bill, to cause a delay in the passage of the bill. Simply when when there is no decision given by the President of India, definitely it will lead to a cause of delay. It will cause a delay. It causes a delay in the passage of the bill. So this is what is pocket veto. So normally pocket veto powers, pocket veto is exercised against ordinary bills, and in extraordinary conditions, President of India can withhold, right, money bill only in extraordinary conditions, not in ordinary conditions. So when it comes to passing of money bills, right, so he can use pocket veto only in extraordinary conditions. That is, imagine, so whenever a government comes down before giving his assent, then in such conditions, President can use his pocket veto. That is only in extraordinary conditions, right? So ordinarily he cannot hold money bills, but in extraordinary conditions, right, he can use pocket veto powers. So on ordinary bills as well as money bills only in extraordinary conditions, right? So this is what about pocket veto. And coming to the last one, that is absolute veto powers. Absolute, that is unquestionable authority exercised by President of India. So if you take this absolute veto powers, it is about unquestionable, veto powers, unquestionable veto powers exercised by President of India. That means no one has the power to question, no one has the power to reject the veto powers exercised by President. So President is the ultimate authority. President has the ultimate veto powers. Now in a parliamentary system where parliament is supreme, the President of India can use this absolute veto powers against a law passed by parliament, against any law passed by parliament. Alright, so normally President of India has no absolute veto powers with respect to bills passed by parliament. So ordinarily, so any bill passed by government of the day cannot be rejected by President of India. So make this point very clear. Ordinarily, any bill passed by government which enjoys majority, a government which has complete confidence of the parliament, which enjoys total majority, which has full majority in the parliament, then the bills passed by such government cannot be rejected. Absolute veto means power of president to refuse to give his assent. So president can refuse to give his assent. So president can completely override a bill or a law made by parliament. Right? So it is unquestionable veto powers. That is, President of India has full power to override the bill or a law made by parliament. So that is what. So here the question is, in a parliamentary system, whether president can really override, that is, whether president can really reject or refuse to give his assent, what to call, to the bill passed. Ordinarily speaking, right, this is not applicable. President of India has no power to give, no power to refuse or reject a bill passed by parliament. Make very simple way, right? In a single shot, we can say that he cannot do so. President cannot reject it because parliament is supreme. But in certain conditions, president can reject these bills. President can reject president can use his absolute veto powers on certain bills. Those bills which are passed by private members, that is on private member bill. Those bills which are introduced by private members. So those bills which are certified as private member bill by chair of the house, such bills can be rejected by President of India. Right? Another bill, those bills which are passed by the government which have lost their confidence. Those bills which are passed by government, right? A government which has lost its confidence, right? A government which has failed to prove its majority or confidence in the floor of the house. Think that if a bill is passed and before giving it the assent, if government comes down, if government loses its majority, then whether president should give his assent. So it is in these extraordinary conditions, right, president can use his absolute veto powers. Right? So normally president initially can use pocket veto until the government goes to test its majority. If government fails to prove its majority, then he can go for absolute veto powers. Right? So this has happened. This was excised during in 1987 on postal reservation bill. Right? So which was passed by Rajiv Gandhi government, and before getting the assent of the President of India, right, it was the government has lost its majority, and the new government under the prime ministership of VP Singh, right? So VP Singh has advised the President of India to reject the bill, to refuse to give his assent, and on the advice of Prime Minister, Jnani Jail Singh has refused to give his assent. So this is a case where there is an exercise of suspensive veto, a pocket veto power as well as absolute veto powers. Right? So this is what about what you call absolute veto power. So normally, so President of India can use this absolute veto powers only with respect to bills passed by or bills of private member, or simply private member bills, or those bills which are passed by that government which has lost its majority in the meantime of in the meantime before giving the assent. Right? So this is one thing. Right? So if you take these veto powers of president, veto powers of president are not only exercised against bills of parliament or laws of parliament, but at the same time President of India has these powers with respect to the bills or laws of state legislature. Right? So President of India can exercise his veto powers, on all those bills which are, can exercise his veto powers on the state legislations which are reserved for his consideration. Right? So those bills of the state which are reserved for president consideration, by governor of the state. So we know that same as President of India, even governor of a state has veto powers. So under Article 200 of the Constitution, right, governor can exercise veto powers. At the same time, right, governor has been given certain discretionary functions. So under Article 200 along with Article 201, read with Article 201, governor of a state can reserve bills for the consideration of President of India. Right? So governor can reserve a bill for, right, reserving a bill for consideration of President of India. So he can reserve a bill on two occasions, on two conditions. When President directs, that is, governor on the directions of President of India. Second one, whenever a state bill, right, abrogates the powers and functions of state high court. So when there is abrogation of powers and functions of the high court. And secondly, thirdly, whenever the state finances are in threat, right, whenever there is threat to the state finances, even in such conditions, governor can reserve both money bills and all the finance bills for the consideration of President of India. That means governor can reserve ordinary bills as well as money bills and finance bills of the state. Ordinary bills and money bills of the state. Right? So let me talk about the case with respect to reserving ordinary bills. That is, whenever ordinary bills are reserved for the president consideration. So in such conditions, president can use his suspensive veto power. He can use pocket veto. At the same time, he can use absolute veto powers. That means, right, he can send the bill for reconsideration of state legislature. That is, he can direct the governor to send the bill for reconsideration of state legislature, where in such conditions state legislature should reconsider this bill within a period of 6 months. So in case of parliament it is 3 months, and in case of state legislature it is 6 months. Right? So within 6 months such bill should be reconsidered and passed. So now during the second journey of the bill, so the bill will be sent to president office directly. Here the role of governor is what we call a sideline. So in the second journey of the bill, that is, whenever a bill is sent for the president office for the second time, president is not compelled to give his signature. President is not compelled to give his assent. So if you take the case of parliament, during the second journey of the bill, president has no option but to give his assent. But coming to state legislature, president has every power to refuse to give his signature, right? So during the second journey of the bill, president has every power to refuse to give his assent. He has every power to give his he has every power to refuse to give his assent. So this is what exercising of absolute veto power. Or instead, he can simply cause a delay in the passage of bill. So as there is no unmentioned, there is no time limit mentioned, so he can use this what you call pocket veto, where simply the bill will be laid at the desk of president office, and after the expiry of what you call the term of the government, so this bill will get lapsed. Right? So there is what you call over a period of time. So this is what about the case of absolute veto powers. Right? So here president can use absolute veto powers with respect to the bills of state legislature. Right? So this is what about ordinary bills. And coming to money bills. So president of India, whenever a money bills or finance bills are reserved for the president consideration, president has only what you call two options: either to give his assent, or he can use pocket veto. Simply he can cause a delay in the passing of money bills. So when delay is caused, the bill won't be passed out. Right? So with respect to money bills of the state, right, president either can give his assent or he can use pocket veto powers. So this is what a brief description of veto powers of president of India. So here the intention of veto powers given to president of India is to ensure a check and balance the power between the executive and legislature. Particularly, it is to what we call act as a control on the powers of the legislature. Right? So with the intention of protecting the constitution as a guardian of constitution, right, as an integral part of a legislature, that is parliament, president has every power to exercise the control over the parliament. Right? He has every power. He has every such power to exercise the control. Right? So that is what the intention. So here the intention of veto power is to ensure check. Right? Is to ensure is to exercise control over legislature. So that is what a cardinal principle of separation of powers. Checks and balance is a cardinal principle of separation of powers. Right? And this is exercised in the form of veto power. And one can get an impression that these veto powers make president of India more authoritative. But in reality, in a parliamentary system, president can never become. Parliamentary system is also based upon the principle of separation of powers. That is executive and legislature. Right? Though executive is a part of legislature, but still there is what you call a control exercised. So executive can never become an authoritative, right, in the parliamentary system of government. Right? So this is what the lecture for today's class. Thank you.